Welcome to the Brothers Random Show. My name is Travis.
And I'm Michael.
And we are two ordinary brothers discussing extraordinary ideas and some random shit. So the topics on this show range from theology, masculinity, movies, philosophy, books, pop culture, and many other subjects. We have to talk about the people we admire and the wisdom that they share. People such as Dr. Jordan B. Peterson, who we believe is the sage of our time. Michael, we are talking about movies again.
Let's do it. Sisu.
Sisu is a new trailer that dropped. It seems like a foreign film, like it was made in Finland, but it's actually a Finnish concept. Sisu, it's Sisu, is a Finnish concept described as stoic determination, tenacity of purpose, grit, bravery, resilience, and hardness. It is held by the Finnish themselves to express their national character. It is generally considered not to have a literal equivalent in English. So you sent me this trailer. It dropped, what did you say? It dropped a few days ago.
Days ago, yeah. It wasn't too long. Yeah.
And it's a for guys like you and me who are kind of disenchanted with movies lately. I mean, I certainly am. I am having a hard time thinking of movies that I really appreciate or really love. I mean, I did the video, the Nobody video. That's that was, but that's how old is that movie? That's a year-old movie. So.
And we had just had a conversation about how we had nothing to look forward to. There was like no movie that was coming out that we were
really
basically excited to see.
Yeah.
And I just recently, so it was my daughter's birthday. She wanted to go see a movie, and there was really nothing playing that we could go to. So we went ahead and went and saw Ant-Man. And I actually enjoyed the first Ant-Man. I thought it was fun and witty, and it made me laugh more than most of the other Marvel movies. But it was horrible.
That's what I've been hearing.
It was hard. It was so hard. There were basically, and this might be kind of, you made the point when we were talking about it. My daughter enjoyed it, and she's 10. So, I mean, she enjoyed it.
So it appeals to young children. My daughter enjoyed Shang-Chi and the 10 Rings, but I was like, this isn't that great. I mean, it had its moments, but there was a ton of CGI in it, and you're just like, this is so fake looking. This is so garbage looking. But I mean, Shang-Chi and the 10 Rings was a big hit, and they're going to keep making them. I don't know.
It would, I not to get too deep into it, but I walked away from that, and I still just kind of laughed to myself thinking about like things that happened, characters, and just how they were. It was insanely horrible. Not to just kind of get into that, but it's just case in point of like where we're at in movies.
Yeah.
And we enjoyed the John Wicks, and this movie, I guess you were telling me there's not really a lot of actual John Wick people involved with this movie.
It's made by the same studio, Lionsgate, and Lionsgate dropped this trailer, and it's already got 1 million views. At least last I checked, it already had 1 million views. So what this, I believe, John Wick, if there's going to be a fourth one coming out. They've been made 3. They're all super entertaining. And what this movie looks like, Sisu, it's called Sisu, is it looks like John Wick beating up Nazis. It doesn't have any famous people in it. There are no faces in this movie that I recognize, and I'm pretty well versed in movies. It looks like it was made in another country. It looks like it is a Finnish film. There's Nazis and a dude who fights them. So we're gonna do the breakdown of the trailer and watch a little bit of it.
I could only
the listening
imagine
audience.
Somebody out there sitting in their office thinking about what's the next project, what's the next movie that I want to make, and just like John Wick meets Nazis.
It's like a perfect idea. Brilliant.
Whoever was sitting in their office, shout out to you.
Yeah, like it's a. I mean, you wouldn't.
Now, don't disappoint us.
yeah, don't disappoint us.
The pressure's on because we're excited.
Because that movie looks. I mean, it does look great. So the visuals. So it says Finland, 1944. So it's about a man who's on his own.
Older guy, I guess we could say. I didn't realize how short he was. He's kind of short in this. If you look
to the German, yeah.
The Nazis all gathering around him.
Yeah, and he finds gold. He's a gold digger. He's just by himself, and he's got his dog, which is kind of a trope of these movies. So, like John Wick,
his horse and his dog. Yeah,
John Wick had a dog. So that's part of this. And then he's going by these Germans, and obviously this is shorthand, right? In our society, there are people out there that don't. All you got to do is show a Nazi, and people know. Exactly. These are the bad guys. Yeah. These are terrible people. These are, there's a little bit of shorthand involved in this, and that's what makes it simple, because we already know who the bad guys are and who the good guys are.
And right? I mean, to be honest, there probably should be more nuance in things that are like the World War II, like just because you were in Germany and you fought with, the Germans didn't automatically make you a horrible person. They were in Germany, they were in the times.
Yeah.
But and so there should be some nuance there, but as it goes for the symbolism of the day, like you see a Nazi and that this is symbolizing the evil that came with the Nazis.
Well, and that's what happens when you have an entire society bent on atrocities, and that's what they were. And Jordan Peterson often talks about that that it wasn't just Hitler that made Nazi Germany. It was also a collective of people who were nihilistic, embittered, and it was in the zeitgeist of their society, and he came along and exploited the whole thing. So that's what they,
and we'll actually, I mean, at some point we'll kind of talk about it, because in the 4th episode of Exodus, they kind of get into some of that where I mean, Jordan makes the point that if Hitler had not come along, somebody else probably would have come along and exploited the hatred that was in the hearts of the people at the time.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we can. You want to do more of this?
Moving on with the trailer.
With the trailer, we can't show the entire trailer because it copyright issues, but I think we can kind of.
I think we should be able to skip through it. Obviously, it's showing a little bit of the bullies, the group of bullies. So this might become a little bit of a meme or like a trope. within like the wishful thinking of men, right?
Yeah.
In Nobody, the scene on the bus where these guys come
Yeah.
on and
And he
they
beats
start
up all the bullet.
harassing
Yeah,
everybody.
harassing
They
everybody.
start
Yeah.
harassing the girl, and they're just like, why is this girl, why are you all alone? They're pretty, and they're just harassing this girl. And then the main character, he like ushers out everyone. He's
Yeah.
just like,
He like, hey,
just leave,
why don't you leave?
just
I'm gonna
just go
kill
out.
all these guys.
And then he pulls out his gun, takes out all the bullets, and it's like,
I'm gonna yeah,
I'm gonna fuck you up.
we and
It's so great. So
we
this same thing is kind of happening here.
yeah.
They're like, oh, he's got gold. Oh, they start going through his stuff. They kneel him down, and they're basically like gonna execute him right there. Now, obviously,
What's
in
so great
Nobody, this was not as extreme.
Yeah.
So
what's so great about this scene is that he tells his dog to leave. He like points to his dog to run off. And now he's gonna just.
And then, when I saw that, I was like, I'm already in. I'm
already when he stabs the guy in the head.
When he stabs the guy through the head, I'm just like,
oh my god.
Oh yes.
It's like it looks way over the top. Like this is just
you've got me. It's like you had me at hello. You had me at the knife through the Nazi's head.
Yeah, the knife through the Nazi's head. And so there's a bunch of shots of him doing carnage, and then it says glorious carnage.
Yeah,
a wild ride that has to be seen.
And they
have women in it, and I'm not sure what role they play.
I don't know, but it seems like, because it looked like they were in the back of a truck. All these women are in the back of a truck.
Yeah, like they've captured women, and they're just terrorizing these women.
It makes me wonder if they're kind of doing a forced prostitution thing.
Yeah, scenario with them. Yeah.
We don't this
is
really
all
know.
Speculation, of course.
Yeah, we don't really know, but it looks like they're in the back of this truck. They're with these Nazis that are probably taking them, I don't know, to maybe doing some kind of forced prostitution, which, I mean, once again, is just going to kind of play into masculine wishful thinking of a bunch of beautiful women, damsels in distress, an older guy that has had his family
well, in the trailer they actually show some of the women with guns, so it's not like they're just completely useless, which is true about the World War II. There were women in the French Resistance that were soldiers. It wasn't just men fighting. On the battlefield it was mostly just men, but there's a ton of stories
in the Resistance.
In the French Resistance. And it looks to me like this is like a bit of Finnish resistance, because it's set in Finland. And I'm not familiar with the history of that. But they, one of the things I looked up specified that this was a particular time where there was some Finnish resistant fighters, which is this isn't based on anything true. This is all kind of, it reminds me a little bit of Inglourious Bastards by Quentin Tarantino, which was kind of a fantasy idea of the Jews fighting back kind of thing. Because it's not,
was it just the Jews? It was kind of a fantasy of like,
the French Jews. There were French Jewish people.
Oh, we're there.
And,
okay.
Yeah. Shoshana.
I guess I don't remember much about it, but
that's Quentin Tarantino's best film, in my opinion.
And I liked it. But it was wishful thinking in the sense of hey, what if we took this movie and we showed this way that people kill Hitler, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, if there was an actual, and it's almost
elite
like
unit that could kill Hitler, kind of thing. So
yeah, it's they kind of play a little bit on the uh what is it, where they steal something, um the heist. It's kind of a
yeah,
heist story.
genre. Yeah.
um every there's different characters that have different roles that help to get,
Yeah.
to steal the thing, right? And instead of stealing the thing, it's breaking in to kill
Hitler. Yeah.
Hitler.
It's a man on a mission. You remember Where Eagles Dare, right? With Clint
Mhm.
Eastwood. Do you remember that?
Oh, vaguely. Yeah,
And I believe,
vaguely. Yeah.
yeah, there's a movie your dad watched a lot, and that's basically fantasy as well. It's not based on any truth, but it was based in World War II. And then Quentin Tarantino said that was one of his inspirations, I think, for Glorious Bastards. So anyway, let's move into some more of this. So here we go.
Right here, all of them. You and you.
So the Nazi Germans are sending their guys out into a minefield. It's just blowing up body parts and stuff. I mean, it looks like just violence.
Yeah. And then I love that shot of him riding on the motorcycle with his dog in the.
Yeah.
Just love it. Yeah, there's going to be a ton of impractical.
Yeah,
because like he's on the motorcycle going at the plane, and somehow he puts a pickaxe in the plane and ends up being able to break into the plane. And
it's the same theory behind Nobody, right? Or John Wick. It's this idea that of the like the lone hero going in and taking on an army, and it's like it's wishful cinema, because most red-blooded American men, want to be heroes, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what that is it's just this I think we're coming into a new age of action films with these films. So Lionsgate has got this market kind of cornered right now, because they're not a studio who can afford the the brand name stuff. They did
like the big Marvel, DC, like these superhero stuff. Yeah, they gotta. They're being forced to make up new stuff.
Yeah, because people, maybe there's some people out there who are interested in it.
Yeah.
And they were famous in the early 2000s for doing the romance. I think they were in charge of Twilight, and that's where they made a lot of their money.
Mm-hmm.
And also, what's the Hunger Games.
Were they was that them?
That was them too. So they bought the rights to Hunger Games and did that. And they've been known as like a cheaper studio where they don't really have a lot of money to put towards all their stuff.
Huge budget. So
yeah, they're not like Disney. Disney, who owns Marvel, is a huge company, and they own Star Wars. And in my opinion, they've probably ruined both in the last 10 years. So they've kind of shit the bed when it comes to some of these properties. And you were saying Ant-Man, the new Ant-Man movie. Okay, so it's called Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, for anybody who's not paying attention. And you saw it. I am not going to pay money to go see it. It looks like it's terrible. And in fact, I don't know, I think the last Marvel movie that I saw was the Spider-Man, No Way, or what's the fourth one? The third one. Anyway, the one with all the Spider-Man in them, where they do the
No, it's not the Spider-Verse, but it's like the multiverse
yeah,
one.
it's their multiverse one. Yeah, but I mean, and that was really good, and I really enjoyed it. But they're not trying to make. They're trying to. It seems like they're trying to put out movies faster than they're willing to flesh out the stories. But it sounds to me like that, like what you've told me of Ant-Man and the Wasp, is that they're faltering. They don't have it's just crap.
It could be that they're pandering to everyone, and eventually, as you do that long enough, you're not going to be loved by anyone, right?
Yeah.
The thing about like John Wick is, or those type of films, Taken, John Wick, I would put Taken in there.
Nobody, yeah,
and Nobody, is that they're kind of unabashedly saying that this is our audience and we're making something for
that audience,
this audience,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So we don't care about wokeism. We don't care about all this other stuff. We're just going to make a movie for our audience, and that they will love
them as much as we can.
Yeah.
Right.
And so and thank goodness that there's somebody that's willing to do that, because we've been saying, nothing to look forward to. It doesn't seem like anything good is going to be coming out for a while.
Yeah.
But and then saw this and I'm just like, hey, I'm back in. Like this I'm looking forward to, right?
So Sisu, I'm looking forward to that. It looks like it's going to be a limited release, so it might be hard to find a theater to play it. I think we should maybe on this show try to, after we've seen it, come together and talk about it.
Oh yeah.
But it might be hard to find. It might come on video on demand. In that case, I might be able to get it. But if it's in limited release, then most likely it's not going to be playing in a theater near me.
Mm-hmm.
But it and it looks, it doesn't look like a big studio movie. I mean, it almost didn't look like there was any CGI in it. I think that airplane is CGI, but I mean, the problem, one of the big problems I think in the movies now are they're so CGI heavy that they're just terrible. They're not pleasant to watch. And that was my complaint with Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings. It's like, these people don't look like they're threatening their life at all. So it doesn't make it really exciting. Back in the day when Jackie Chan was doing all of his stunts, his own stunts, and
crazy, right?
The novel thing. And that's why the stuff that Tom Cruise does is so big, because he's doing most of his stunts in all of those movies, the Mission Impossible movies and Maverick, Top Gun Maverick. That, I mean, they were say what you want to say about his crazy antics. I mean, at least he's doing everything he can to entertain people, which is all you can really ask of an actor, right? So,
and I think we're going to move into a phase where there will be some people who will be unapologetic about who they are and what they want to do and who their audience is, and like take it or leave it, but screw the woke, the time of people being offended, whatever the case,
the message,
needing to pander, right? The having to pander to.
What does our film say about society? Well, maybe you should just make an entertaining film. Maybe that's what you should be doing. You shouldn't be trying to change lives with film. Maybe in the process of making an entertaining film, you will actually change lives. But let's start with entertaining people first. So I think, okay, so there's a few movies that I'm a little excited for. I would say the third Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm going to try to go see. I would say the second Dune movie. I would try to go see.
Mm-hmm.
The fourth John Wick, and this Sisu.
That's four
movies that I'm really looking forward to coming out. And
right.
Out of what, usually there's 20 movies that are released in the year at least.
Yeah.
So
but
that's where it's at. I'm not going to pay money to go see Quantum Mania or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't blame you for going, because your kids, when your kids want to go to see a movie, you want something.
It's kind of just happenstance, but
yeah.
And I wasn't excited about it because I had heard that it wasn't that good, but I kind of was like, all right, cool. Well, let's go and try to have a good time. And there were a few parts that got me laughing, but just generally, yeah, just
it pushes
generally
socialism.
horrible.
It has a moment of pushing socialism, doesn't it? That's what I've heard.
Sure. I mean, there's a moment where he says, the ants they're using ants. He's using ants as the example. I know socialism is a charged word, but these ants have been, accomplished a lot by,
and what's ironic
collectively
about
doing things together.
What's ironic about that statement is that it actually, ants don't have any individuality. There's zero individuality. So you have a movie and a society. I would say that Hollywood society is all about the individuality and, my truth and all that BS. And then they try to push socialism. I don't think they understand what socialism is. It's basically where you take away a person's individuality. It's so bizarre. It's such a,
yeah.
It's like two warring ideologies that are just complete opposites. It's so bizarre. I don't know. It makes me sad for movies. Because usually, I would say years ago, when the summer was coming up, there was at least 10 movies that I would try seeing in the movie theater that I would be excited about. And maybe 3 of those were good, but at least I saw them all in theater.
Yeah, and Critical Drinker talks to this a little bit, but we might be seeing the time coming where the big box office movie just kind of is on its way out. Mm-hmm. And most of the stuff we would look forward to will be things released in like a television type streaming. Yeah. And so, yeah, the things that come out on like net or that are made and released on things like Netflix and
HBO Max, Disney Plus.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yep.
For right now, I'm just watching old stuff on Disney Plus. None of the new stuff is any good. Like I haven't. I mean, there's a case to be made that Mandalorian is very good. But
we'll see if they can't mess that up too.
Yeah,
but
we'll see if they can't,
because they probably will.
Probably will. Final thoughts?
No, I think one thing I was going to say about this Sisu movie is that hope I know probably play a little bit into like a stoicism, a man of competence, stoicism, and like a dark kind of integrated shadow. So like we talk about this a lot, but the virtuous monster.
Monstrum virtuosum. The virtuous monster.
The virtuous monster. And that is that it's okay to be a monster when you are fighting against monstrosity.
Yes.
And so it's pointed out that, like, I mean, the whole John Wick genre is started off on this premise that these thugs were so monstrous that they would laughingly, horribly kill a puppy. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's not even that a puppy's life is worth a human's life. That's really not it. It's that they were monsters. And so a monster, and they even play in this in John Wick, the whole thing with the boogeyman, that his name is the boogeyman. Can you remember it?
Mm-hmm. Baba Yaga.
Baba Yaga, yes. That he is the boogeyman.
He's
right?
the boogeyman.
And so it's one of those things, is like, if you are evil, then there should be something out there that gives you nightmares at night. Right. And for John Wick, it became John Wick. He became the monster that was going to come out and consume the evil. Right. And so having this unabashedly, like, no holds bar, a fantasy made that a competent, stoic, integrated shadow. So I mentioned the shadow. That's a Jungian term of the dark side of a man, like that men have this kind of dark side within them. But the idea is to be able to commune with that
and channel
bring
it,
it out into you and integrate it for good. Yeah. Right. And so if he is, taking that monstrosity to free women that are being prostituted against their will, and kill the Nazi bullies, which it's just like, let's take the worst of the worst, and that they're bullies.
The sheepdog. There's the sheep that you protect, and then you fight against the wolves. You're a sheepdog.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the basic premise. And if we can integrate that into movies, when everybody's telling society that you're a man, you're bad. If you have passions, you're bad. If you
want to protect women,
you're bad. It's like,
chivalry
what?
Who else? Be dead.
Who else is gonna do it? Like, there's a meme out there that's like, be your own hero. Yeah, you can do that to a certain extent. You can be your own hero, but at some point you're going to hit a wall, and then you need somebody to help you up. So that, and hopefully that's a virtuous monster. Hopefully that's the integrated shadow. Right?
Yeah.
Because that's,
and hopefully we get to see that in this movie.
I'm excited. So it comes out April, according to everything I read, it doesn't say it in the trailer, but it comes out April 28th, I think, in theaters, and maybe probably on demand, because it looks low budget. But low budget in a sense of like still doing great. Like a John Wick movie. Most of those are pretty low budget, even though they got a star like Keanu Reeves. But anyway, I'm looking forward to it. So maybe if I'm in your area of the woods, we'll go together.
Or vice versa. Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds great. All right. We'll wrap it up. Keep reading, keep listening, keep watching, learn more. We'll see you, brother.
See ya.